This is Political Radar Pulse with Rhonda Sitnikow, where we explore the issues facing Northeast Wisconsin and beyond with insightful interviews and open discussions.
Hey, all you political junkies, welcome to Political Radar Pulse, the best 30 minutes of unscripted and uncensored political talk you will hear all day. If you need a break from politics, we have an amazing and very significant event happening in Green Bay, and it's called UntitledTown. And with me today, I have the co-founders of the event, Alex Galt and Wendy Wimmer Schuchart. Welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks Rhonda.
So we're going to get into the nook and granny and everything in there as far as like the, the star power coming to the event. But let's start with the origin, how it started, whose idea was it and all that good stuff. So let's hear that.
Well, the event really kind of evolved out of just a perceived need. I mean, it really kind of started one day last fall when, I sat down at a table at Kavarna, my coffee house, with Wendy, and we started talking about how there was a lot of unrecognized talent here in Green Bay and in the area, but more to the point, there wasn't really a community of people that were to sort of facilitate people working together. Like people didn't necessarily know what other people were doing inside the community. So our first impulse was to have some kind of event that would bring local writers together, just so that they could, experience some form of camaraderie and so forth.
Yeah, and if you think about, if you're really into soccer, you probably have a soccer club that everybody goes and plays soccer, so you can visually recognize the people who are also soccer fans, or boating or golfing. You start recognize the people who are in that community who have that same passion. Writing, and to another extent, reading, is almost a solitary act. You're doing it for a future reader, or you're reading something that somebody wrote far in the past, so you never have those opportunities to say, hey, there's another poet I know. Or Alex, when he had sat down when I was working, he said, I always see so many people who are writing, and I see them because I have that perspective of owning the coffee house. I get to see these writers. I know that they're writing poetry because I walk by or whatever, but they don't see each other. They could be sitting right next to each other at the table. So Alex sat down, and we thought, and in about 15 minutes, he came up with the name, because we were talking about how we were kind of, some of the people were writing out things that weren't yet born or titled, and then came up with the name UntitledTown. And originally we were thinking about a book fair. And then Alex brought some board members to the table. I brought some board members to the table. We incorporated, I think it was 4 days after the election.
Yeah.
And then...
So that actually spurred you to create this author and book festival, the election? That's interesting.
Well, I'd say that, the idea pre-existed the election. However, I think
you were cooking with gas as soon as that happened.
I think that, for me anyway, I think it gave me a lot of something to drive for and something to create. Because if you think about, how do we change the world? We change the world through ideas. How do ideas become born? We write them when we read them. And that is how you become the person who you're going to be, is through reading and through, kind of putting your ideas into reality.
And I think what's great about this is, reading is typically a very solo experience. You created something as a community experience from something that really is known as a solo experience. And I think that alone is really impressive.
And it's something that many really big cities have, kind of literary festivals and or author festivals. It's amazing that we've had so many authors come out of the woodwork and say, hey, let me create a session. So when we originally put it out there, we were thinking book fest, or we were thinking just a book fair. And then we put out a pitch and said, hey, we can actually have workshops. We could actually have author readings and support some of our local authors. And we had so many pitches come forward, and we were able to say, we had so many venues who donated space for us and supported through in-kind donations, that we were able to say, let's mold this on the idea of South by Southwest, where you might have at any one time 8 things going on across a very small area, and you can pick and choose. Well, I feel like going to this graphic novelist who's doing a reading at noon, and then at 3 there's a writing workshop where I can learn how to write food poems. Or don't quote me on these times because I don't have the schedule all in my head. But at this point, we've got over 100 sessions where people can pick either from. If they're interested in engaging with the book culture from a reader perspective, they have kind of a reader track. If they consider themselves a writer, they want to know how to get published, we have how to get published sessions, or how to, become a better writer, write better characters, setting, facts, anything like that.
I think for the first time, writers are going to have, and readers are going to have the luxury of having to make really agonizing choices. Like where to be when.
So we'll definitely get to the schedule, or like where to go to look at the schedule when we close. But where are some of these events happening? Is everything at the library? Where's it all happening?
Well, from the beginning, we really wanted to use this event to showcase downtown Green Bay and the important development that's happened there over the past 5 or 10 years. And I really don't think we could have done this event in the same way that we're doing even 3 or 5 years ago. But we'll be using the Brown County Library, and there will be multiple rooms in use there. We'll be using St. Brendan's Inn. We'll be using the KI Center, and significantly the portion of the KI Center that was recently constructed. We'll be using the Titletown Tap Room, the Larson Room, which is on the 3rd floor of that building, Kavarna Coffee House. I know I'm missing something.
Backstage at the Meyer.
Backstage at the Meyer.
Oh, wow. Okay. So it's you really are utilizing downtown.
Oh, and the Broadway Center, Old Fort Square.
Okay.
And on Saturday and Sunday, we have the UntitledTown trolley will be circuiting downtown all weekend. And of course, that was made possible because we have a couple of sponsors who stepped up to the plate and were able to sponsor some of them.
And let's talk about the sponsors, because admission into the event is free, which is great.
Which is unheard
and really
of.
then it reaches a lot of people. So almost anyone really can go to this.
And that was really important to us from the very beginning. I mean, if you go to a lot of book fairs and festivals in other cities, it really is kind of a more, kind of a pricier event. You generally have to pay to, attend and register. We wanted this to be a very open event that was really focused and geared towards our specific community.
Yeah, and to put that in perspective, or to kind of help you contextualize this, I'm actually speaking at a fiction workshop, or a fiction and poetry workshop in DC this weekend. It's a 1-day event. It's incredibly reasonably priced. And that's $70. Wow. AWP, which is more aligned, or it's probably closer to what we're doing, that's probably about $240 for that cost of admission. And it's very similar structure to what we're doing, and we're giving our audience for free.
So it's safe to say and fair to say you're giving the community a gift with this event. Well,
and I mean, we're giving our time and hopefully our creativity and energy, but really it's the whole community giving itself a gift. So
let's talk about some of the sponsors of this event. Who are they?
Well, our title sponsors, and when they entered the picture, it really changed the nature of what we were doing.
Everything.
Yeah, I mean, it really significantly impacted the conversations that we were having as organizers. But the title sponsors are Breakthrough Fuel and Crystal Clear Resources, and they were they came in. And
I'm not familiar. Can we ask you Crystal Clear Resources? I'm not familiar of who that is.
They're connected to Craig from Breakthrough Fuel. It's
okay.
a kind of they're a resource for doing like content creation and public relation.
Okay. So
then also we had Friends of the Library stepped up and gave us a significant gift that enabled us to bring specific authors in and pay for those author stipends.
Yeah, and then Wisconsin Humanities Council was very important, significant donation.
Crest Foundation.
The Crest Foundation. I know I'm going to miss someone because I don't have the list in front of me. But, Cellcom, Nicolay Bank on Broadway. WPS Foundation, the City of Green Bay Celebration Fund, a Reader's Loft.
The Camera Corner, we said
Camera Corner, the Oneida.
So your website actually has
SNC.
a full
Yep.
list of this if people want to
Yeah.
go look at it.
St. Norbert's,
Right.
WGB.
Okay.
And the Alumni Association. Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about some of the star power that you're bringing to this festival in regards to
Wow.
authors and all
This
of that.
is what I'm here for. We've been incredibly, before we had Breakthrough Fuel and Crystal Clear Resources and the support of Friends of the Library, we were thinking, well, we can probably get this done with, a small budget. So we reached out to some of our, friends, and some of us are on the board have some pretty great relationships in the literary community. So we have, and they have new books out this week or last month. Dan Shawn, who was just reviewed in the New York Times Book Review a couple of weekends ago with Ill Will, which just came out. Super creepy, awesome book. One of the best I've read. Actually, I would say the best book I've read since The Goldfinch, which of course won Pulitzer Prize 2 years ago. And then we also have Nicholas Butler, who wrote Hearts of Men, that just came out. Great Wisconsin writer. And we also have Ben Percy. Ben Percy is, he writes for the Green Arrow comic book series, but he also is a great, fiction writer on his own. He wrote Red Moon. He wrote Thrill Me, which is a craft essay. And Michael Perry, of course, everybody loves Michael Perry, Wisconsin, New York Times bestseller author. Those guys are our Friday and our Saturday night events. We also have Kate Harding, who is huge nonfiction essayist, writes about feminist issues. They are our keynote people on Friday and Saturday. And then on Sunday, we were able to get nationally recognized, globally recognized authors, Sherman Alexie and Margaret Atwood. And Margaret Atwood, of course, is the author of so many books, won the Booker Prize, is shortlisted for a new prize coming up. But she wrote The Handmaid's Tale, which Hulu is adapting into a series that's starting 4 days before the event. So lots and lots and lots of press about Margaret Atwood. We're incredibly thrilled to have her with us on the stage at the KI Center on April 30th.
And you can imagine these people are sharing this with their, their followers, their fans as well. So you really are putting Green Bay on the map for something that's never happened here.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And when you're talking to people like Craig Dickman at Breakthrough Fuel, and a lot of the donors, for them, they're concerned about the growth of Green Bay as a place that's attractive to young professionals and other people that they're seeking to recruit and retain for employment. So that's been like sort of the central argument for that.
Well, commerce and culture together attract and retain talent and
the hip, cool things.
Right, it is. Absolutely. So let's talk about because I think, people, they're on their devices constantly and maybe sometimes forget to read and write. Why is that important? Why is this something that we need to encourage and continue to bring to communities, like the purpose of reading and writing?
Well, I think you can't really encapsulate the full human experience in 140 characters or less. So,
no, you really can't.
So if you're really going to try to understand other people's lives and history and the full expanse of the human condition, you really need to look at books, nonfiction and fiction, because that's really the only way to convey that kind of experience.
Yeah, isn't it great that we all know exactly what it's like to be a 12-year-old wizard now? Because we could read Harry Potter, or we know exactly what it's like to be a dog sledder because we can read Blair Braverman's Welcome to the Goddamn Ice Cube, which is a dog sledding nonfiction. And by the way, Blair will be presenting at TitleTown Tap Room on Saturday, the 29th. And that's that. It helps us with our empathy, right? It helps us so that we're not, staring at other countries and saying, I'm going to nuke you out of oblivion, because maybe we read a piece about what it was like to be an 11-year-old girl in North Korea. And that's not to discount the power of digital content. And I'm somebody who's made my career out of digital content. I was blogging before blogging was a word. And it has basically made my career. Some of the authors who are coming, Wendy McClure, Jen Larson, Jeanette Fulda, who are coming to talk about memoir writing, they all started as bloggers before the advent of Twitter, before Blogspot was even a thing, before people were using the word Google as a verb. And all of those people, that there's something strong there, but it's all about connectivity and connecting people and
because
ideas.
social media really is making all of us, whether we like it or not, very self-absorbed.
It is a little bit,
sure.
isn't
And
it?
and that's not good for anybody, really at all. And so to keep, I think, wanting to understand perspective of other people and understanding, and like you said, empathy and just getting ourselves out of ourselves in order to do these things, we have to continue to encourage reading and writing, wouldn't you say?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think that we are at the political moment that we're at in large part because people may be reading less and are a little bit more consumed with social media and digital content. I mean, I don't think, when you talk about fake news, for example, I don't think that's a phenomenon. I mean,
Or the echo chamber.
Right. I mean, obviously propaganda has existed forever, but the role that fake news played in this election was pretty unprecedented. And I don't think that could have really have happened to the same degree 20 years ago.
Well, and maybe our radars aren't necessarily on anymore. We're just so inundated with information. We sometimes don't even want to source it out and sort it out as well, just to give it credibility.
Well, I think we, I celebrate that there are fewer gatekeepers online. However, by the same token, that means that we have to play like a larger role ourselves in trying to ascertain like where the information is coming from and what its purpose is.
And so this book and author festival is a gift and a service to the community then, if you think about it. Maybe just to kind of get us to check in, again with maybe we need to be doing more reading, maybe to inspire people to be part of that.
Oh, I hope so. I mean, our whole point was really to celebrate book culture and whatever that means, whether it's creating books, whether it's reading books, whether it's sharing books, whether it's kids increasing literacy. We know that there's a solid correlation between how much kids read and their poverty level as adults and their lifespan as adults. There's an actual direct correlation. So you start kids reading books and getting them excited. And and it's one of the reasons why UntitledTown has got a huge platform for children and literacy, and basically kids under 18 and literacy. So we've taken all the way from Clifford the Big Red Dog visiting for kids who are reading their picture books to Pause for Tales, which is so kids when they're learning and practicing reading aloud, they get better if they read aloud, but sometimes they get nervous about reading aloud to people, even other kids. It makes them nervous and it causes a little bit of anxiety. But we're bringing in actual real live dogs who like to be read to, so the children get to check out a dog and read the dog a story, and then it goes all the way up through high school. We have a really good basis for high school authors and high school readers. So we've got a high school writing workshop that normally would cost probably $100 per person that the high schoolers can bring at ages 13 to 18. They can come to that. We also have a high school reading. So high school age authors can share their work on the stage right at Kavarna to a really welcoming audience. And we're making sure that this platform is continuing. We're giving free tickets to certain teachers in middle schools and high schools to attend Margaret Atwood and Sherman Alexie. We're including and bringing in the teachers to not only do the pre-marketing, but we've created actual marketing specific to the YA readers, so that they can come and enjoy the YA authors like Melissa Gorzelanchek, like Liza Weimer, like Jen Larson, like Wendy McClure, like A.S. King, who are all coming to the event, and really support that lifelong love of reading. That it's that critical age, 16 to 18 is when people stop reading.
You did so much with really a grassroots idea, right? I mean, that's what it was.
It just kept mushrooming. We have 6 really rabid people on the board. 7 now. 7 people who we see a problem and we see a gap, we just kind of swoop in and charge it.
So I would imagine you're going to inspire people to do this on other levels and for other reasons.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I think this really demonstrates the hunger in this community for different kinds of events. I mean, we didn't have to persuade anybody of anything. I mean.
And wow, people are coming and there's not even beer involved.
it's
There may be some beer.
there's some beer.
There may be some beer?
Titletown
Yeah.
Tap is one of our.
Oh, there's going to be, okay, I suppose
So
in
yeah,
that area there will
probably.
be.
It's funny. We had 3 meet and greets, and one was at Aardvark Wine Bar, one was at Titletown, and one was at Reader's Loft. Each time we thought, well, like 12 people. Like I brought 10 name tags to the Aardvark Bar because I figured we'd probably maybe have 12 people. 50 people showed up. We killed that bar.
Right.
And Titletown Tap, we ended up having probably about 90 people. Reader's Loft, over the weekend, we had about 90 people. Each time I thought, we'll get like 20 people. And they're all different people. So it really demonstrates how excited everybody is about that.
And you had to fundraise for this event. What was that like?
It was. I'm not going to say it was easy, but it was really like it was just a series of pleasant conversations. Really, people got what we were doing right away, and we were completely surprised and very grateful for the response that we received.
Can you say what something like this, what the price tag is? Is that something that you?
I think the final budget will be around $100,000 for this event.
Yeah,
Oh.
So we raised $100,000
And that was
in
5
3
months
months
ago?
Yeah, we raised it in 3 months. We stopped
Oh, in
fundraising.
3 months.
Yeah, we stopped
Yeah.
March 1st or so.
Yeah, March
Oh my
1st was our
God.
cutoff. Of course, we still have some people who are like, hey, I want to be also involved and let us give you money.
Just even the past couple of weeks, we've had people who are like, is it too late to give you money?
And that's the
It's
actual.
never too late to give you money.
That's the actual hard expense. That's not counting anything like the incredible value that we're getting from like Titletown Tap and the venues and the talent, and Karma Group has given us tons of support and everything has been amazing.
Okay. Anything else you want to add to this? Definitely want to include, the website, the best place to look. I know there's a Facebook page.
There's
Twitter.
Facebook, there's Instagram and Twitter.
For Untitled Town.
Untitled Town for
Yeah.
Facebook and Instagram. Twitter is Untitled Town GB. And then also one more thing, not only are we still giving away free tickets to Margaret Atwood and Sherman Alexie, which was of course sold out in less than 24 hours of the free tickets, but we also still have VIP seating available, which for $50 per person gets you the best seats in the house, first of all. And also, so it's a guaranteed seat. You don't have to, you don't have to worry about not getting a place to sit. But also, it gives you access to the priority signing line. So the authors are only going to be able to sign so many books before their hands, basically fall off in a bloody stump. So we're going to have to cut it off at some point. But the VIP tickets gets you kind of in front of that line.
Yeah. I'd encourage people to go to UntitledTown.org and to sign up for our email list, which is probably the best way for us to get information to people.
Okay. How are you going to top it next year? What are you going to do next year? Are you going to have it next year?
We're going to reincarnate Kurt Vonnegut and bring in J.K. Rowling and the
Mark
Pope.
Twain.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay.
William Shakespeare.
Okay. I mean, I imagine this is not a one-time thing.
No, our intention is to have this be an annual event.
And also do things off season. So the Book and Author Festival is just really our first. It's the first event. It's our debut. But we're expecting to have things all year round.
Yeah.
Great. That's great. Anything else you want to add before we close?
We could go on forever, Rhonda. So we should.
And we would.
Well, thanks for coming. Again, amazing event. We're so lucky to have people like you in the community that are really wanting to do things like this. And it shows that, at the very grassroots level, ideas can go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Just a reminder, April 28th through the 30th, UntitledTown.org.
Okay, awesome. Thanks for coming on, Alex Galt and Wendy Wimmer. Say it again.
Schuchart.
I'm going to get it straight.
Thank
Wendy
you.
Wimmer Schuchart. That wraps up Political Radar Pulse episode 6. For show notes, go to politicalradarpulse.com/6. If you're watching this episode on YouTube, like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell to get notifications. If you would like to support the show like this on Facebook and Twitter, you can buy shirts and other merchandise at politicalradar.com/shop. Also, and this is important, make sure to check out Political Radar Echo with host Cassandra Hautala, and that starts next week. It'll be coming out. Stay tuned, and thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Political Radar Pulse. To ensure that you'll never miss an episode, subscribe on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. To check out more episodes of Political Radar Pulse, visit politicalradarpulse.com or connect with us on Facebook or Twitter.